when it comes down to personal knowledge management, I think it's an exactly appropriate term, knowledge management at a personal level. So what are you going to do about knowledge management? I'm going to skip ahead of a few things here. I'm just going to tell you there's a bunch of things that I think would make a nice course on personal KM. Here's a bunch of topics. Some of the important areas are some optimization techniques that you should know personally, how to increase your own personal performance. If getting the best knowledge, the right person, right time is important, if 27 to 33% of your time is wasted doing this, let's focus on that. So holding meetings is a major waste of time. Let's focus on improving them. Getting the best knowledge, in other words, acquiring knowledge for yourself, producing knowledge, innovation techniques, knowledge acquisition techniques, integration is knowledge sharing techniques. These are all very important things to do. And maybe there's some technology that will help as well. So I'm going to jump out of this for a second and see what might be the most appropriate thing to go to. I'm going to jump ahead just maybe a slide or two. First, you can see this, but I'm just going, rather than taking the time of the animation, first you need some kind of, well, I'll go ahead. I'll go real quickly though. First, you need some kind of a methodology. You need a plan to make personal KM. You need some steps. You need how to perform personal KM. You need to get a vision, and just like a corporation. Don't do personal KM and not have a vision and a mission and say, follow the same procedures a corporation would follow or anybody would follow that's trying to do something really important. You're going to have, we talked about change management. You're going to have to do a little personal change management. But at least you can tell yourself to do it, and maybe you'll do it. It's not like herding a bunch of cats, which, oh, I don't have the audio.
Yeah, good video.
You've seen that one, right? I have the video here, but I don't have audio tonight. So it's not like herding a bunch of cats. That's that EDS one. Some of you know that one, right? All right, so I'm going to jump ahead on this. I'm just going to pick some techniques. There's a whole body of techniques that could improve your personal performance. I call them performance optimization techniques. One of them, in fact, both of them, require you to think of yourself as part of a system. And we all are. In other words, what does it mean we're part of a system? We don't operate just all by ourselves in a little shell or a little cubicle. Well, we're sometimes in a little cubicle, but we're not all by ourselves in that cubicle. We get something tossed over the wall to us, called an inbox, and we toss something over the next wall called an outbox. And if, in fact, that's the case, I think I'll just focus on the second one. There's a whole body of knowledge in the field of operations research which addresses optimum scheduling. And I know one of you is going to say, if I ask you, what's your scheduling algorithm? Somebody's going to say, well, whatever my boss needs, that's what is at the top of the pile. Well, that's reality. That's what we do. But that's not an optimum scheduling technique. If you are using optimum scheduling techniques in your department, you probably wouldn't have that press, that last minute, the boss has got to get this done, and we're so far behind schedule, we have to cram, and we're under stress and all of that. And here's what that technique is. Shortest processing time. It simply says, if you have a stack of stuff to do, some of them are going to take 5 or 10 minutes, and some are going to take 5 or 10 hours. What do you think shortest processing time says? Do the ones that take 5 or 10 minutes. Can you appreciate why that's true? Some place, somewhere downstream, there's some slack capacity. Just sitting there like this, not literally, slack capacity. Anybody that's done any project management, you know about Gantt charts and all that, and slack capacity and bottlenecks, then you know what I'm talking about. Without getting into all the science of it, there's somebody down there figuratively twiddling their thumbs. And if you can take that little 5-minute job and get it passed on downstream, you're going to smooth the entire operation. So when you're involved in a system, if you're in a department and you start talking to your department about doing shortest processing time, you will probably see a noticeable improvement in the efficiency of your department. Particularly if there's a lot of stuff that passes around. But I personally can see this dramatically. I deal mostly with people internationally, and if I miss by 5 minutes somebody's close a business in Kuwait or in India or someplace else, then it's a whole 24 hours before, we lose a whole 24 hours. So it's obvious to me that this is true. It may not be so obvious to you. There was another thought flashing through my mind on that. Oh. However, if you're home on a Saturday and you have car washing and dog walking and grass cutting and a few things like that, you don't need to apply this because you're not a part of a system. Well, maybe your wife says you are, or your husband, whichever your spouse says you are, a part of a system because he or she is dependent on some other things. But generally speaking, you make your own calls. Do I wash the car first or cut the lawn or walk the dog? It doesn't matter. But when you're in business and you truly are part of a system where what you do gets passed downstream to somebody else, shortest processing time, it doesn't take a penny to do this. And this has been proven at the largest of companies. It's proven in the whole field of operations research. It's proven both mathematically and by simulations. And I personally been involved in it. I guarantee you it's a very powerful technique and it doesn't cost a penny. All right, I'm going to jump forward to one thing I wanted to give you just in passing. Yes, Denise. 5 minutes. All right. She's a tough one. I just want to introduce you to some of the thinking we're doing about personal KM. We're taking a learning organization, technology evolution, we're saying down at the level of the individual, we have this kind of an octant. And we say at the top, there's work, and down at the bottom, juxtaposed against this, there's instruction. Work, this shouldn't be work and training. This is instruction, because training can be, learning can be on the job all the time. And over on the left-hand side is collect, which means more the explicit knowledge. On the right side is connect, which is more the tacit knowledge. And we're working at a desktop here, and we got meetings over there. We've got performance support over here, which we've already mentioned. And we have experts and mentors over there. Well, you could begin further definitions here. Project spaces and blended learning spaces, work tasks, repositories, knowledge bases, collaboration communities, and expert locators. You could begin to map the kinds of functions that take place in these octants. That's the first step. The second step then is to begin to map the kinds of tools that satisfy these octants. This is the kind of stuff we need to make a real profession